Hello and welcome. My name is Candace Gliotto. I am a lead educator and coach for Qnity. And today I'm going to be sharing with you a simple system for growing your business, specifically by growing your client count. And my hope for today is to make this as fun and interactive as possible. I see a couple of people in the chat already. So please share your comments, any questions you have, throw it in there. Erin is going to be helping me manage questions and comments. But let's start by using the chat. Tell me where you're from and what your name is and what you do, what salon or spa you work for. So hop in there. I'd love to hear from you. And while you do that, I'll tell you a little bit about me. So again, my name is Candace Gliotto, and I am a coach and educator for Qnity, but I also am a salon owner. I own a salon called Citrus in the Bay Area here in California. And the process and the methodology for growing client count that I'm going to walk you through today is what we use at our salon to keep our chairs full too. So I'm really coming at you from that perspective as well. So let's get started. I can see I've got some Chicago, Minnesota. Awesome. Well, it's great to have you all here. Now, Qnity is all about creating or giving us the tools to be able to create the most prosperous life. And we do that by, when we define prosperity as doing what we love, making money, and still having a life. Now, some of these things might be important at different times in our life, more important than others, but I think we can all agree that if we had all three of these things, that we would be prosperous. So tell me right now, use the chat, what's the most important to you right now? Is it doing what you love, making more money, or having a life? We want to hear from you. And remember, of course, it's hard to choose one because it's great to have all three, but I want to know what's most important to you right now. Now, how we help people achieve prosperity is by encouraging them to have unity. And when it comes to unity, there's one word that changes everything, and it's and as opposed to or. Too often, we find ourselves feeling like we can only be one thing or another. For example, we might feel like we can be an amazing artist or an amazing business owner. But the reality is we can be both. So we really want to push you to think about and versus or, and really try and live in the middle. Living in the middle of profit and people, the middle of our business mind and our creative mind, and of our head and our heart. So tell me again, using the chat, do you lean more towards the business side or the creative side? Do you make decisions with your heart or with your head? Now, another area that we want to strive you to really shoot for the middle is in our left brain and our right brain. So if you're familiar with left brain and right brain, our left brain is our more analytical, structured, mathematical side of our brain. And our right brain is our more visual, learn by doing, emotional, intuitive side of our brain. And really our goal here at Qnity is to take a right brain approach to get those left brain results. So again, throw in the chat, where do you lean? If you were to imagine a slider between left brain and right brain, where would you lean on that slider? Are you more right-brained or are you more left-brained? Let's see. What do you think I am? Okay, right-brained. I lean towards the right myself, but I'm always striving to be right in the middle. So what we're going to introduce to you today is a structure that is going to help you grow your business, specifically in client count. Now, oftentimes when we hear the word structure, we think, oh my gosh, that's going to be limiting or challenging, or that's not for me because I like to be creative. But reality is that structure creates freedom for us. And so what I'm going to introduce to you is a very simple and visual structure that is called Tune for Growth, that is to be able to drive your sales by looking at just two very important numbers: client count and average ticket. Now, client count times average ticket equals our total sales, and that is how we grow and drive our business. Today, we're going to be focused more specifically on client count, but why are these two numbers so important? Why is it important to look at things more simply? So if we look at this dashboard here, there's all kinds of indicators. It tells us, you know, the radio, the heater, all these things on a car. And this is all great information for us to have, but what is the most important? Again, use the chat. What are the most important indicators on this dashboard? Go ahead, any guesses? Gas, yep, that's a good one. What else? What else is really important? Speedometer, exactly. So gas and speed. That's really what we need to be able to drive from one place to another. And so our gas and our speed when it comes to growing our business is client count and average ticket. So client count is the number of times that a client comes into the business and spends money. It's also known as the number of transactions. Average ticket is the average amount of money that a client spends when they come into the business. And we look at this as a total average ticket. So this is the money that they spend on services and on products. Now, what we're going to go through today is ways that you can take action so that you can drive growth in your client count. This is called the Qnity dashboard. So you can see we have our primary KPIs, key performance indicators, client count and average ticket. And then in the outer circles is the action we can take, what we can do to drive growth in these two very important areas. So if we look at our client count drivers, is what we call them, we have referrals, retention, and rebooking. All of those behaviors are going to help us grow our client count. Now we're going to take a deeper dive into that today, and then in the future we'll look at average ticket. Now the way that we grow our average ticket is products, add-ons, and pricing. Now the action that we take today for growing our client count, we see those results in the future. The action that we take today to grow our average ticket, well, we see those results right away. Now, when it comes to fueling those drivers, referrals, retention, and rebooking, I want you to think about and use the chat, share with me your most engaged client, the client that just is so connected with you and your business. Think about the things that they do. Think about the ways that they support you. What's their name? I want to know. So think of that person. Put their names in the chat. My most engaged client, her name is Paige. And she does all of the things to support me and my business. And she supports and fuels those drivers. So she recommends more. She buys more. She's super loyal. She upgrades and adds on. She purchases often. And she's not sensitive to the prices. Like as our prices go up, she supports it because she knows that it's worth it. Now think about that client. In my case, it's Paige. I can see here we have Erica and Anna. So what if your entire clientele was filled with people that were as engaged as that client that you're thinking of now? Wouldn't that be a game changer? Game changer, you stole the words right out of my mouth. It would be. It would make our jobs so much more fun. Talk about doing what you love, but also it would help our business thrive. So how do we get our clients' attention and engage with them in a way that has them support our drivers? Now, we have a saying. It's called the age of two, TOO. How do we get people's attention in the age of two? The age of two is this world where there's so many distractions and so much going on, phones going off, busy, Zoom meeting here and there. How do we engage these people? What you'll find is that the people that you tend to be the most drawn to, and think about that. Think about the people that you just admire and that you listen to everything that they say, they'll probably have these two character traits, which we refer to as the contagious two. And not contagious in a bad way, contagious in a good way. The contagious two is passion and confidence. So again, think about that person that you feel drawn to. They are passionate, I guarantee, and they are confident. And your clients love and trust and want to work with you when you're passionate and when you're confident. The confident action that we take really helps us fill this gap, the gap between what we're earning right now and what we could earn in the future. Now, think about confidence. It's what you do, it's what you think, it's how you feel. It's also the decision to try. No matter how you feel, you can choose to take action and you can become confident. So, how can we take our confidence and our passion and these drivers and really fuel growth? We're going to dive into the details here. So starting with referrals, we're going to talk about why, and then we'll go over some ways for how. So as we go through these, if you have best practices for driving growth in these areas, please put them in the chat, because the more we put in the chat, the more we all learn. Maybe I'll learn something from you. That would be amazing. So why referrals? Why is it important? Well, why is it important to the service provider? Obviously, right? We have more guests, but it's important to remember that when we have a referred guest, they're more likely to become a retained guest. And then why is it important to the salon? Well, a constant flow of new guests is obviously going to make a healthy business, but also those referred guests are more likely to experience additional services, which helps the business grow. Now, why is it great for the guests to be able to send referrals to you? Well, if you have a referral incentive program, then they get to take advantage of that. But also, guests want to help their stylists. They want to help their service providers. They feel this strong connection with you, and they want to support you, and that's a perfect way for them to do that. Now, let's get into how. So these are just a few ideas, but I really want to see in the chat, what are your best practices for referrals, for getting more referrals? Here's a few ideas. One, practice an authentic and natural script. Sometimes it's hard to ask. I find sometimes when I'm working with my team members, I'm like, oh, did you ask for referrals? Oh, I get a little bit shy. You don't have to be shy. Just practice in a way that makes you feel confident and passionate and come off confident and passionate. Always be building your online reviews. So there's referrals where you're asking people to send others to you, but then there's also an online review is a form of a referral. Now start with your inner circle. When I was first starting out as a hairstylist, I really focused on a car dealership that one of my girlfriends worked at. And I was like, hey, if you could send somebody to me, that would be great. Before I knew it, I had this entire dealership and all of their families. So you start small, gain a lot of momentum. So start with the people that are the closest to you. Be very specific on who you ask for a referral. And use an offer, but don't always make it all about the money. You don't have to offer a huge discount. Maybe just offer something kind of fun and exciting. Don't do something that takes away from the other drivers. But the most important part for gaining referrals is asking. So I'll tell you a story. My husband and I, we went to Hawaii and we did this like snorkel trip on a catamaran. And the trip actually ended up being a little bit of a disaster. The wind was bad and the swells were super high. But the crew, and we couldn't even go snorkeling because it wasn't safe to go in the water. But the crew made this experience so fun. It literally made our trip. I mean, we were ear to ear smiling through the whole thing. They were funny, they were knowledgeable. I felt like they were like our best friends. We had the best day. It made our trip. I think we'd go back to that same place just because of this. Now, even though we had this great time, my first thought wasn't to write a review or referral, but as we were leaving the boat at the end of the day, one of the crew members said, "Hey, did you have fun?" I said, "Yeah, I had a great time." And he said, "Okay, well, if you could leave us a review on TripAdvisor, that would be awesome." I ran to my little rental car and I left that review. It was the first thing I did because I loved my time there and I loved those people so much. It was a pleasure to be able to do that for them. Your clients feel the same way after having a great experience with you. So don't be shy and ask, because even though they love you, they might not think to do it if you don't remind them. All right. Now, our second driver is retention. So why is retention so important? Well, it's important for the service provider because it fills our books, but then it also allows us to build amazing relationships. We know those clients, the ones you were referring to earlier, those engaged clients, those people are a joy to work with. So again, it helps us create a job that we love going to. Now, why for the salon or spa? Well, it increases revenue. Guest loyalty and retention and engagement are highly important for growing the business. And why for the guests? Well, the guest feels appreciated and acknowledged. They come back. They get a closer relationship with you. Sometimes they're able to receive special values, and they just have this high engagement and this tight relationship with the salon that means a lot to them. They're proud to be a client of yours, proud to be a client of your spa. Now, some ideas for retention. And again, please use the chat. If you have great ideas for growing retention, put it in there because we can all learn from it, from each other. Now, prepare and follow up for a wow factor. So think about who's coming in today. Who are you going to see? How can you prepare so that they're blown away when they come in? And then follow up after the appointment. What can you do to make sure that the next time they're in, you're able to prepare? So one thing is remembering names and details about the client, whether you keep it in a written notebook or if you have a database you can put that in. Make sure to add notes about your clients so that you can refer back to those conversations that you had before. We had a client that was getting root kits during the time that we were closed, and I remembered her name. She wasn't a client of mine. She came in to pick her kit up, and all I said to her was, "Hi, Leslie," and she lit up. She actually said to me, "Oh my gosh, you remember my name?" And I thought, well, of course I did. But just that small example there shows how important it is to stay, or how important and how meaningful it is to your clients to remember those details. Now, not last, but third, always give a great consultation. We know that the reason our clients tend to move on to other salons or spas is because they're looking for a change. But we're all capable of giving that change. It's just we might not be asking the right questions. So make sure that, especially for your existing guests, you're giving them a consultation that's just like you would for a new guest every single time. For new clients, remember, 3 times is a charm. So it takes 3 visits for one of your new clients to consider your salon or your spa their place, okay? For them to think of you as their stylist 3 times. And of course, think of something new for each visit. You might be giving a great consultation, but they might need some suggestions to get them excited for something new to try. And this makes some people nervous, but invite back clients you haven't seen in a while, even a really, really long time. Because remember, sometimes clients wander, but then they might get nervous that you're mad at them for leaving, and so then they feel like they can't come back. If you open that door, you're going to see a lot of those old clients come back. Very important to reach out to them so that they have an opportunity to come back if they want to do that. Again, has anybody ever tried this? Use the chat. If you've ever looked back at your books, especially right now, you know, as we see the light at the end of the COVID tunnel, we might have lost clients through that time. and they might feel more confident to come back now than they did a few months ago. We have to reach out to them and open that door. Now, rebooking. So why is rebooking important? We often have this conversation for pre-booking, it's so important, we have to do this, but why? Well, one, it helps us earn more money. It's so much easier for us to have a full book. It's so much easier on us emotionally to know and have that confidence that our paycheck next week and the week after that is kind of laid out for us. And our guests are our walking billboard. And so when we have them on a regular schedule and they look good all the time, then that's great for our business. Now, why is it important for the salon? Well, or the spa? Of course, it increases our revenue with our existing guests, but then also it's less time and less money on marketing. We know it's like 6 times more expensive to get a new client in your chair or in your treatment room than it is to keep an existing client. So if we have them set up on frequent visits, they're going to be back, and we're not going to have to worry about reaching out to new clients. And then again, we get to see the people that we have these meaningful relationships with. Now, why for the guests? Well, of course, I don't know about your salon, or your spa, but Thursday at 6 p.m. is the most popular appointment. So if we pre-book our guests several appointments at a time, then they're going to get the day and the time that they want. And also, their hair is going to be maintained, and it's going to look great the whole time. That's great for us because, yes, they are our walking billboards, but also it's great for them because they feel confident and beautiful all the time. So how do we grow? This is a fun visual. So you can see this very official chart here of why pre-booking is so important, but it is your reputation. So hair is looking great, and all the way at week 10, this person didn't pre-book, she's a little bit shaggy, and now she's mad because she needs her hair done, and she's not looking great. It's for everybody that we make sure that we're booking every time. Now, some tricks for pre-booking. 1, tell versus ask. And that might sound a little harsh, but you have to tell your guests because you are the expert. When we go to the dentist, they just tell us when our next appointment is. We need to do the same thing. We need to review their previous booking patterns, and we know, okay, this person comes in every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks. Or if they're a new guest, or even for your existing, maybe they have a new look that has different maintenance. You need to be able to communicate that and say it in a way that is very confident and very passionate. Know your dates. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks out. What's going on? Is there a holiday around then? I always advise my team to know what is happening around that time. Because if you say you want to book out 6 weeks, maybe that doesn't connect in a way where you'd say, well, let's book you out 6 weeks. That'll get you in right before Thanksgiving and then right again before Christmas. I know the holidays are times where we're really good about pre-booking, but those same things can apply to other times of the year. Oh, we'll book you out for 6 weeks, and it's going to be right as, springtime starts, and maybe we can do some highlights, or maybe we can do something different with your skincare treatments. So get them and show them a calendar. We all need a visual. Visuals help us understand things better. So if you show them a calendar, whether it's digital or a paper calendar, it'll help them see how much time is going to be passed between now and their next appointment, but then also what else is going on around that time where they're going to come back and get maybe their color cut refreshed. And then, of course, give them a plan for their next visit. Get them excited. Okay, this time I, did a couple of highlights, and next time I'm going to do a big haircut. And I'm going to start looking for inspiration pictures. Till then, get them pumped up, get them excited, then they're going to come to that next appointment. Now, as far as how you can use the Contagious 2 and apply it to pre-booking is the way that we offer it. So you can see here, this person's not using a lot of confidence and passion. She's saying, it was great seeing you today. Do you want to book your next appointment? No, that's okay. I'll call back later. Well, how many times has this happened to you? Think about this. Oftentimes, our clients, after we have this big long session with them, they have so much fun, they kind of sometimes want to make less work for us. That's okay, you don't have to worry about that. Maybe they know that your next client's there. I'll call back later. Or they don't want to dig their calendar out of their bag right now and look. But instead, if we offer it with more confidence and more passion, like this, wow, your hair looks amazing, what do you think? And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I love it. So to keep it looking vibrant and shining like this, I'll need to see you in 4 weeks. Does this date work? Right? So they're passionate, they're talking about the look and how nice it looks and how you know to keep it that way. And then they're also confident. This is the date. Does that work for you? Yeah, sure. You've taken the guesswork out for them. All they have to do is book the appointment, and they're going to be back, and they're going to be happy because their hair is going to look great. They're not going to have to worry about trying to squeeze in last minute, and they're going to be taken care of. So what are your best practices for pre-booking? What do you do? So use the chat. Again, I know I keep saying this, but I really want to hear from you. And so does everybody else, because this is how we learn. So tell me your best practices for pre-booking. All right, I'm going to keep an eye on that. Now, remember that all of this doesn't come easy, right? You might feel really inspired and excited right now, and then over time we get distracted and we start thinking of other things, and now, the age of 2, now we might be kind of easing up on how we're delivering things to our clients or how we show up before work every day. So what can you do to ignite your passion, to be as excited as this guy, to get pumped up and excited about your business, about your clients, and about your salon or your spa? Please put it in the chat. And remember, client count. It's a huge way for us to grow our business and to drive our sales, but it's also a way for us to make an impact. We are in an amazing industry where we get to have somebody sit in our chair or visit our spa, and we get to make them feel more confident and more happy about themselves just by having these great conversations with them, by making them, bringing their vision for their look alive. We get to have a huge impact on people. So growing our client count is a win-win for both us and our clients. And I hope that this has had a great impact on you today. And I want you to share, again, what's your favorite part about meeting people and working with people behind the chair or in your treatment room? What do you love most about being able to make an impact? Share with me in the chat. Making them beautiful. I love it. Creating new looks. That is the gift that we have to give, and it just makes that's what makes our industry so special. Now, if you want to learn more about Qnity, check out QnityInc.com, and you can follow us on Instagram at Qnity Inc. And this here, you can see we have our 3 core programs. So Plan for Profits, Plan to Prosper, and Qnity in Action, which is our coaching program. And and also we are going to be diving into our other drivers that are on the average ticket side of our Qnity dashboard in our next session. So I don't know what the date for that is yet. Erin, if you want to come off mute or put in the chat the date for that next session, but I hope that you tune back in. And I'll open it up if you have any questions or any comments about today. So thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you, Katie. Yes, love this reminder on how to treat clients. Really, it sounds so simple when you go through it, but we don't always think about things this way. So this is a great way for you to organize your approach so you're growing your client count. Great information, looking for the date. It's at the end of April, so keep an eye out for our next session. So what do we need to do to receive our, oh, Katie might be able to hop on and help with this question. All right. All right, well, thank you everybody for tuning in today. It was great spending this time with you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. It looks like Katie's going to share about the hours in just a bit here, so thanks.